All right. Hello, everybody. I think there's enough of us that we can get started while everyone's joining. Let me just find my place here. All right, Mr. Rubino, if you would please lead us in the pledge.
Hello.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the Republic.
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to advance notice and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Fort Lee Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published on October 16, 2020, and posted on the district website at www.flboe.com, published in the board's designated online media outlet newspaper, The Record, filed with the clerk of the borough of Fort Lee, and mailed to all persons, if any, who have requested said notice. Please be advised that this meeting is being taped and may be broadcasted on local TV and the district's website at a future date. The Open Public Meeting Act allows for remote participation at board meetings and defines meeting as any gathering, whether corporal or by means of communication equipment, which is attended by or open to all members of a public body, held with the intent on the part of the members of the body present to discuss or act as a unit upon the specific public business of that body. Roll call, please.
Ms. Cho.
Here.
Ms. Colback.
Here,
Mr. DeMeglio.
Here.
Ms. Morel.
Here.
Ms. Richter.
Here.
Ms. Ramba.
Here.
Mr. Rubino.
Here.
Ms. Tuck.
Here.
On Silver.
Here.
You have quorum.
The board convened executive session at 6:30 today to discuss legal, personnel, and other confidential matters. Mr. Rhoda, will you begin by sharing the superintendent's report? You got muted.
Didn't click that hard enough. Thank you. I will start by giving our HIB report. There is no incidents to report. There have been no investigations since our last meeting. Secondly, the fire and security drills for the month of September have been posted to the board in the board docs and have been conducted. Third, on the agenda today, we have the school self-assessment for determining grades under the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights. Those scores were sent out to you with the update last week. If you recall, this is the same self-assessment that the anti-bullying coordinator and anti-bullying specialist conduct every year in each of the buildings. They rate the program and the effectiveness of our HIB processing system, how well that's working. And they score themselves. The maximum score they could achieve is a 78. You'll see that the scores are fairly consistent across the districts. The teams are doing a good job of following protocol and procedure and keeping that running the way it should. These scores will also be posted on the district website after tonight's meeting. The next thing I want to mention is the change in meeting procedure. We had a change for tonight's meeting to go to an all remote meeting. This is based on recent legislation that changed the New Jersey Administrative Code. The emphasis has been for districts to move back towards live meetings that existed pre-pandemic. And in doing so, they are encouraging districts to do that. One of the regulations that have come out, not regulations, the regulations haven't been finished. One of the parts of the new code is that the board cannot meet physically in one space if the public does not have access to that space as well. So in the past few meetings, we had been meeting at the media center, just the board, and conducting the meeting through Zoom, and that is not permitted. We must have access for the public to attend the meeting if the board gathers together as a body. So we discussed this today, and for right now, we will do the remote meetings. The emphasis, as I said, in this is to move back towards in-person meetings. The challenge becomes that we do have a capacity limitation based on health requirements of no more than 25 individuals at a meeting if it happens inside. So we are going to try and work through that and process that and come up with a plan to address that. If the board decides they would like to meet in person, we need to have a capacity also to conduct an online meeting simultaneously so that the public who are not present can participate and comment and hear what's happening. So earlier today, I met with Mr. Ruggiero, and he is working on a solution and a process to allow us to do both, because if we follow the appropriate protocol, we would only be allowed to have 11 people present at our meeting. Between the board, the administrators present, and obviously a tech person, that's 14, and 25 is the max. So we'd only be able to have 11 people from the public actually present at the meeting, but we would still need to have access to the Zoom format or some similar format to allow communication with the people who are watching remotely. So that's where we are right now with that. This is, as I said, fairly recent change in New Jersey Administrative Code. Earlier today, I had a county meeting in which we were given kind of conflicting advice from two different parties. One said we cannot have remote meetings. The other said you can have remote meetings. The county superintendent has given us his word. He's going to do his best to get us a clear answer. There seems to be different interpretations of this same code that's coming out. I know last week Ms. Taylor had a meeting of the county business officials, and she received guidance under one attorney that was very specific. The meeting I attended today, the guidance was somewhat different. So we're trying to work through that to come up with the best format that works for the board and is in compliance with the administrative code. Ms. Taylor, anything to add about that? Did I miss anything? Thank you.
Ken, could you just send us this, I know, whenever you get a chance, whatever the citation is to this new change?
Sure. It
Thanks.
is, I've read it so many times in the last 2 days and I can't remember it.
Like NJAA,
NJAC 35?
5-39.
5 dash, is it chapter 6A?
It's 5, chapter 5.
5. We'll send
Chapter
it out.
5. Yeah,
we'll
if you
send
could
it
just
out.
send it to everyone.
We'll send it
Thanks.
tomorrow. So
Thanks.
that's all I have, Ms. Silver.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, other than I will mention that today, as I mentioned earlier to the board, was the first day of the hybrid for the middle school and high school. Based on the reports I received from the principals, the day went fairly well. A few minor bumps and bruises as we anticipate, but overall a successful day moving forward into day 2 tomorrow.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I know with this switch back to, I've always said that I prefer having us together face to face in the same room. I think it's just easier for discussions and discourse. So I think there's just a lot of logistics to work out. When you're limited to how many people from the public can attend, we need to figure out a way to have people, almost like sign up, to attend and to limit that number. But then also when the people who are coming, we need to have a way so that they can see and hear what's going on, a way for the people who are at home to see and hear everything that's going on, and for us, on the dais to kind of hear the comments that are being directed on Zoom, because we can't sit there on headphones in a laptop while people are in the audience as well. So I think there's a lot of logistics that, I think Jason would have to work out.
Hybrid.
We had a productive meeting today, and Mr. Ruggiero kind of stared at me for a few seconds and then said, I will make it work. Just give me some time. So I promised him he'd have time to work it out.
And I have utmost confidence in his abilities to figure it all out.
As do I.
Yeah, you know, the location might change. It may not necessarily, you know, we might have to do a different location that allows us to be in a you know, in a room that we could be, you know, seen on camera and be spread out far enough. So, you know, we'll have to play it by ear, and, you know, we'll see. You know, and we may look and see what other districts are doing or have done, and we'll see how that goes. So thank you, everybody. We'll, you know, we'll play by ear, and we'll see. So we'll probably ask for everyone's patience, you know, board members and the public, as we work to find a better way to do this, to make sure that we, you know, have everyone's participation in a safe way. Moving on, thank you for that. Do we have any committee reports?
So the policy committee met last week on 2 policies, a very spirited discussion on attendance, believe it or not, and what constitutes an excused absence and how things are recorded. And the committee asked for some additional information, and some of that has been provided, and I'm sure we'll meet soon to finalize and present something and our rationale for whatever we present. And then the second policy was just program, and I think we were close to a language on that in terms of the remaining issue was the criteria and making sure that criteria is
Oh, you got muted, Paula.
sorry, there was an issue as to describing the criteria, so it's clear to parents. It's objective, not subjective, and so that was slightly absent from the policy, and so Diane Baker is working on tightening up that aspect of it, and I would expect in the next meeting or soon thereafter, both of those will be presented.
Yes, I will be in touch about that.
Great.
I don't have a report, but the Board of Ed Committee and the Mayor and Council Advisory Committee is meeting this Wednesday for a meeting between the borough and the district.
Great, thank you. And I think that was it for committees, right? Kind of looking around at my squares. All right, so do board members have questions or comments on tonight's agenda or any other topic?
Just 2 really quick things, Ms. Hunsilver. One, Ms. Taylor, you were able to remove that 1 number from the minutes, that digit. I just wanted to make sure before voting on that.
Yes, but the board they don't have it in their hands, but yes, I was able to make that change.
Okay. And secondly, I don't know if this is appropriate now or in the after comment section, but I just wanted to commend the administration for getting the parent seminars together around mental health this Wednesday and next Wednesday. You guys all know that I'm a big Pure Edge fan, and I'm glad that that partnership is working out so well, and I hope that it's beneficial to the community.
And Mrs. Tuck, so you know, and the rest of the board knows as well, the counseling program and Mrs. Kruber, Mr. Cuzzo were able to also set up a webinar for the staff related to stress management and stress relief. We thought that would be very helpful at this time. That's going to happen on the 27th.
Fantastic.
Yep, I think it's great for both the staff and the students and our families. So thank you for reminding everybody of that coming up. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I have a question. I think it's supposed to be later.
You got muted, Mike.
Now, better?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
You're getting garbled.
You're on mute.
It's not saying I'm on mute. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
I was asked today by email this morning, plus I've been asked, I'm sure most of you have been asked about combining the elementary schools, going every day. There's a small number of kids in each class, and there was a question about if they can go at least 4 days a week instead of the 2, as well as intermediate school.
Okay. Were you able to get that, Ken?
Hey, I did get it. Yep, I'm good.
Okay.
So the question was, and Mr. Rubino had emailed me earlier with a similar idea, was about combining cohorts at the elementary level and possibly the intermediate level, because the cohort sizes are small. And, you know, my concern right now is, number one, primarily for safety. We've had our second case just came out, and one of the advantages we've had because of the small cohorts, there hasn't been any transfer or really opportunity for those positive cases to interact with a large number of people. That's number one. Number two is, you know, there are other factors to consider, such as the size of each room, because we don't have a standard room size. And I sent the numbers out to all the board members. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at that, but I did send it out this afternoon. And, you know, obviously some would lend themselves to that, but I think it'd be tough to do a kind of hit or miss. I think we should be consistent across the grade levels and across the schools. Otherwise, we're not treating all the students equally if we don't provide it for everyone. Some of the room, our target number has been, you know, 12 to 13 max in a room, and a lot of the sections could be combined into that, but there are a number that could not be. Plus the fact, if we do open up to 4 days of instruction, would we have a number of those remote students starting now to come back into the building, which would hinder our ability to social distance like we're doing now. So my major concerns about it come from the safety factor of right now we are assuring appropriate social distancing, even though we've taken multiple precautions. That's just one of them. And that it does isolate the cohort, so there's very little interaction among students in the event that we do have a serious number of cases or any number of cases. And that's really it. Other than that, I think we need to really maintain a consistent level across the different buildings and the different grade levels. Now, as we move forward, I mean, remember, we're only finishing really the third week of this, the third time through that elementary cycle, and we're just starting at the other level at the middle school and high school. You know, part of what we discussed with the administrators is in the next phase, possibly keeping the cohorts, but extending the school day. So once again, we maintain the safety of the cohort, but moving towards a longer school day for the students in the building. So that's something we're exploring as well. I think that might be more in line with keeping our safety protocols than bringing more kids into the building, because as other students start to return, we might have to return back to the A and B cohort then. And then we'd you know, have to go around back where we started from with that.
You're muted again.
Did we speak to the local health authority about doing that, Ken, or no?
I did not ask her about combining the cohorts. No, I didn't have that conversation, Mike, but I can obviously do that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Cho?
So then going off of that information, Ken, thank you. Is there a planned meeting for whoever's on the Restart Committee? I'm not sure if they're still meeting or not, or the pandemic response teams at all. That's something, especially because we did open the middle school and high school now as well. Maybe it would be a good idea to have those committees meet, whoever's on them.
Yeah, the pandemic response teams at each building have been meeting weekly. So they meet they meet each week to talk about their building concerns. And remember, today was day one of the high school and the middle school.
Right.
So in my mind, in my conversations with the administrators, you know, at the end of this month, if things are going well and we're still moving in the right direction, I would think we would look at the next possible phase or inclusion, whether that is possibly going to 5 days of instruction and eliminating the Wednesday remote day, and adding that into the cohort mix, or extending the school day for, obviously we'd start with the elementaries and work our way up like we did the last time, extending the school day to more of a full day of instruction. The challenge there is how to address the lunch situation and students eating in the building. So there are some logistics that need to be worked out either way. But I think, a logical progression, especially now that we've seen, unfortunately, an increase in cases in the state and in our area, that, in my opinion, we should kind of proceed slowly. We're having success with what we're doing now. If we continue to have success, we start to move then to the next phase, which would be increasing time for the students, either length of day or more days a week.
So, I mean, I don't know who was on the restart committee, so I guess I could also reach out to whoever that head is, as I'm not sure who it is, and see if it would make sense to just have a follow-up meeting.
Yeah, we can reconvene that. I have the list of all the committees, so we can reconvene the district committee.
Right.
And bring them together and get some feedback in which direction they would like to go.
And
Provided we keep moving in the right direction.
yeah, thank you for that. And I've seen the emails back and forth about the Wednesday and the full day and the next steps in our plan. Thank you for all of the information that you sent earlier today with the cohort breakdown, but that you just nailed the question that I had about square footage in each class. Is there a way for us to better understand how many classes we're talking about in which buildings? That might not be an answer for right now, but to get that degree of data.
Well, we do have that, during the course of the summer in preparation for the school year, Mr. Bendel measured the square footage in every classroom in the district. So we do have that. And as I said, we considered the number 12, possibly 13 as a safe number, a max in each room. Some rooms could go a little higher. Some might, be 12 at the max to keep that social distancing. But we do have that information available. So we'll have to kind of cross-reference both, because unfortunately,
exactly. We can try that if any combinations are possible.
There is no consistency even within some of the buildings based on the square footage of the rooms. Mostly because of the age of our buildings, and they've had additions and things like that.
So Ken, is that something, I know Scott had told us, or at least on one of the tours that I took, that he had done the measurements, and I guess that you've concluded that 12 to 13 or 11 to 13, something in that range, depending on the size of the classroom. Right. And on first blush, when I looked at the information that you sent this afternoon, if you combined cohorts A and B, I think most of them were 12 and under. So I know that it seems like the direction that we're going is an extended school day, but lunch, I think, is one of the biggest challenges with the COVID, and taking off a mask and getting children, in a space where they can eat. So could we seriously look at both options, extending the school day and what that would mean, and combining the cohorts and going to the full 4 days, without that complication of the lunch?
We are looking at it. We're discussing it administratively.
Okay.
And like I said, that's some of the challenges that have come up would be, if you notice, some of those cohorts have as many as 15, 16 students participating remotely. And if we have, let's say, 10 in a room, but suddenly another 10 want to come back, then we'd have to once again split into the cohort. So there's some logistics there to be examined as well.
And as we approach like the midpoint, or I think you sent around the marking period ends 11/3. So yes, I think under the policy, the 13th, okay. I think under our policy, parents at some point before that date will be afforded an opportunity to shift from whatever their initial commitment was. So do we have a plan, since, to get out a new email or whatever the format is for a commitment, so that planning can be done and things in place before the 11/14?
Yeah, the plan, the district plan allows the parents to move at the end of the marking period or at the end of the trimester in the elementary. And the districts will be, the buildings will be conducting that, collecting that information individually. Because it seems to be much more efficient when parents reply to the building than to the district as a whole.
Can I just had a question about the
Do we have a
cohort?
date for that though? So that we're not like against the wall, like if many more parents decide in person, we need to do planning. And so do we plan to send that out in the next couple of weeks to get the commitment for the next
Yeah,
marking period?
probably after the, sometime, the first week in November is always kind of washed because of the days off. But I
Okay,
would probably, right after that next week.
okay, beautiful.
Can I just ask a question clarifying about combining the cohorts?
Yes.
I hope you can clarify and that I understand it. Even though we can possibly, because the numbers are low in some classes, if you can't do it with everyone, we can't just do it for some classes and not others, grade levels, correct?
I agree. I think that would be my recommendation, that we be consistent. I don't think it's sound to do a piecemeal, where it's grade 3 at school 2 and grade 2 at school 3 kind of thing.
Right.
So we'd have to look at the whole picture, and that may, may be something with some other minor adjustments. We may be able to still do it.
Right.
Because I think, like Ms. Colbat said, most of the cohorts are still low. It's just a question of those remote students coming back or not.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion
Motion,
Colbath.
Motion.
Motion Colbath, seconded by Ramba. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right. Board Secretary Hakisha Taylor will share how the public comment session will be conducted.
Thank you, President Hans Silver. We will use the raise hand feature of Zoom to identify the order in which public comments will be shared. If you have a public comment to share, please select participants from the bottom center of your screen. From there, select the raise hand button from the bottom right-hand corner. I will recognize each community member in the order of the raised hands by lowering the hand and unmuting the microphone. Please then state your name and home address for the record and begin your comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. I see 2 raised hands. Julene, you're being promoted to panelist. Please feel free to share your screen. State your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes. Julene?
Hi, this is Julene Stasu. I live at 2041 Edwin Avenue. How is everybody? Anyhow, I'm listening to this and I feel like I'm hearing more and more and more of the same. We're talking about it. We're in discussions where, I feel like, why didn't we do this, start taking action sooner? So now, Mr. Rhoda, you're saying that you're going to put the new survey out after the first week in November. Well, that puts us at the end of the marking period. Wouldn't it be smarter to do it now in the next 2 weeks, and so that we can be prepared going, forward on November 13th and be prepared? I mean, I can speak for the intermediate school. There are 3 to 5 kids in most of the classrooms. There are 150 children in each cohort, about, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, I think that parents want action. That's the whole thing here. We want action. We don't want to hear words anymore. Start a plan, please. I mean, don't wait till November. It's going to be too late then. They want 5 days a week and they want to combine. And you know what, as to what Mrs. Ramba said, if one class has a little bit more, you shuffle around. I mean, I've heard of districts, shuffling around classrooms all the time to get more kids in. That's what you do. I mean, we got to be smart about this. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. And maybe we should make some bulletproof, plans here. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Julene. I'm now promoting Margarita. Margarita, you're being promoted to panelist. Please feel free to share your screen, state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, 5 Victoria Place, Fort Lee. Of course, we are very excited about the school opening, and we want to do it smart way. But similar to middle school, to intermediate schools, my understanding that classes in the middle school have 1 to 3 people at class. I don't know, where are you taking the 12 numbers of 12? And let me remind you, while you're talking about maybe making 4 times a day, middle schools have 2 half days once in 10 days, not twice a week, because middle school has 3 cohorts. So that's like really crazy when you have 1 student. My son told me he saw 1 student in several classes today in middle school, and we have 3 cohorts. So I believe something for the middle school needs to be looked at. The number of people in the classes. We have 3 cohorts, so it's totally different. We don't have twice a week. We have twice in 10 days. And it's very confusing. If you can do it at least twice a week, because when you plan your work, it's like, Monday, Tuesday, when you can have meetings like Monday, Tuesday, but then another Thursday, but then not this Thursday, but another Tuesday. So if you can have at least 2 consistent days, that would be very, very helpful. And then I have a question to Mr. Rota. I wonder if the teachers in the classroom, when they teach in person, are being encouraged for some kind of interactions with the students who are in class, rather than just teaching through computer the whole day. Because one of the reasons I sent my son to school is that he can decrease his screen time. They're being on computer for like 10 hours per day, which is very bad for them. But my understanding that students just log in into the Google Classroom, and they basically, I don't know yet, because he's not, but that's what he told me. Some teachers were even online today, which I don't know. Someone is maybe the age, it's okay. I'm not gonna judge about it, but are they encouraged to give some kind of interactions and discussions with the students who are in class, rather than just teach the same way they were teaching remotely? Because this is a very important question for me. That was the reason why I sent my son to school. Thank you so much. If Mr. Rota can answer later this question. Thank you.
Thank you, Margarita. Tanya B., you're being promoted to panelist. Please feel free to share your video. State your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Tanya Byers-Kang, and I live at 275 Tom Hunter Road. I wanted to ask about supplies for the teachers for their teaching. So I have at school number 1, I know that they have the teachers really enjoy having document cameras. Now the PTA has some funds, and we are more than happy to buy some, and to help the teachers have what they need to be able to make their teaching go as well as possible. Document cameras are a little bit expensive, more expensive than regular cameras or the microphones, but they do seem to think that that's what they need. So I'm just trying to see if we have a budget, if there's any money left in our, I don't know about the whole behind the scenes thing, but that's what, I'm just bringing that up, that if we have any money anywhere, I'm sure people are fighting for anything, but yeah. So, and the other thing is, yes, congratulations on the schools opening today. That's a wonderful thing. I do think slow is nice. I think that safety first, and but the class periods for the middle school, because the children were used to getting to see their teachers, every teacher every day, now they will see their teacher every other day, and the periods going from I think it was 35 or 40 minutes. I'm not 100% sure, but it was either 35 or 40 minutes, now going to an hour. It's an adjustment. I realize that during this time, everything's an adjustment, but I would hate to see those children academically be affected because of this adjustment so close to the end of the marking period. Those are all my suggestions and comments, and I appreciate you all being here. Stay safe. Have a good night.
Thank you, Tanya. Jessica, I'm promoting you to panelist. Please feel free to share your video and your comment. Please state your name and address for the record. Jessica, you have 3 minutes.
Hi, this is Judy Shamati. I'm Jessica's mom. We're at 1229 Inwood at School 4. I have a question about the standardized testing and whether we think or we know or when we're going to know whether the kids are going to be taking the state tests this year. Because while I agree that what is happening now is exponentially better than what was happening at the end of last year, I also think that it is not good enough. And I don't think that the kids are on par with where they need to be to take those tests well. So I'm curious if there are plans to take those for those tests to be administered. If we don't know yet, when are we going to know? Where are we going to get that information from? At what level is that decision made? And if there is an opt-out or how any of that would work. So if you could enlighten us to that, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Victoria, I'm promoting you to panelist. Please feel free to share your video and your comment. Please state your name and address for the record. Uh-oh, bear with me. Jessica?
I just went.
It was Victoria.
Jessica just spoke?
Yes. You have to look for Victoria.
She raised her hand.
I apologize, Victoria. You've been promoted to panelist. Feel free to share your video and your comment. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, this is Victoria. Victoria Kim from School 1, and I live at 2190 McKay Avenue. I would like to thank you, everyone, that the reopening, since reopening School 1 has been doing great. And although we had one case, it was COVID case, but it was isolated. It was handled very well by Mr. Rhoda and Mrs. Giacomelli, and we're very happy with that. I would like to hear the status of getting more paraprofessionals or technical support team for the classes, because most of the teachers are teaching by themselves and handling the hybrid, like both hybrid and the remote. So I mean, in class and remote. So they definitely need help, someone to resolve the technical issues while they're teaching, especially kindergarten, the younger children. So I don't know if you're adding more paraprofessionals or someone who could help with the technical issues. They don't need to teach. They just need to be there to help teachers with organizing with the little children. So that's something that I would like to hear. And also, I'd like to echo what Tanya mentioned, that documents camera is definitely needed to handle the hybrid lessons to our kids. And I hope BOE is aware of the need for it and assign the budget. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Jennifer, you're being promoted to panelist. Please feel free to share your video and your comment. State your name and address for the record.
Hi, it's Jennifer. Sorry, I cannot put the video right now, but I'm on 2432 3rd Street in Fort Lee. I have a question regarding the substitute teacher. My son, he's in kindergarten on school number 3, and last week he's fully remote, and last week his teacher was absent, so they sent a slideshow and for him to complete all the activities. So I had to sit down with him and do all the activities with him. So is there any plan for substitute teachers and how that would be handled? I'm expecting that going forward, there might be more teachers that get sick, just the flu season and not related to COVID, hopefully. So is there any plan of how that will be addressed?
Thank you. Jennifer.
Thank
Josepha, you're being promoted to panelist. Please feel free to share your video and your comment. Please state your name and address for the record. Josepha.
Hi, it's Josepha, Sion Santana, 2465 Camner Street. I just have like a quick question. I know that this all sucks, right? But my question is more for the teachers, right? What are you guys doing to check on, you know, like to support their mental state of the fact that, you know, we as parents support our children at home, but for the teachers as a board, what are you guys doing for them to make sure that their mental state is being checked and that they feel completely supported, which I think is very important in order to help you do your job better. You know, are you doing any check-ins? Are you doing any monthly, you know, I know like for me as a corporation, right, we're offered different classes, we're offered different things in order for us to have like stress releasers and stuff like that because we're all working remote. I was just curious, has anybody even put like together some kind of like, you know, reached out to a community where like, you know, if they can have like, I'm not just saying like yoga, right? But I'm just saying anything that they can have for them to actually have some kind of mental release and be able to have a check-in, because I think they're just really important and part of this equation, right? You know, it takes a village to raise our kids, and they're one of the people at the forefront and the frontliners. And I think that we really should respect that and be able to also offer support that they're completely supported. So that's really my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Josepha.
Thank you.
Alana, you're being promoted to panelist. Please feel free to share your video and your comment. Please state your name and your address for the record. You have 3 minutes, Alana.
Hi, I'm Juana Baruti, and I live at 1030 Fairview Lane. I just had a quick question. I'm just trying to understand. So I have 2 young elementary school children here, and for the, for the specials, for art, music, etc. It seems like each of them will get assignments each week that, obviously they need support in completing. And I'm just wondering if it's not possible, because in the past, for a kindergartner, there were no homework or things of that nature. Right now they have assignments to do. Is it possible to incorporate the specials teachers into some kind of Zoom interactive type format, rather than having this homework type scenario where the kids can't do these tasks by themselves? They're often required. It's not just draw this or that. There are instructions to it, so that there requires a parent support. And I'm not sure how much I know that the teachers are putting work into them, and I appreciate all of that. I just think that the kids would enjoy more and get more out of that interaction when it was, engaging, and, there would a teacher and relating to them and talking to them and teaching them something, rather than, something that we as parents have to kind of get done with them in between all the other things that we do with them. So I just, I had written an email regarding this, my husband actually had, and I just wanted to kind of follow up on it and see if there was a way to make these the specials more interactive and engaging for the children, rather than having it as assignments and homework that I feel like are more of maybe a burden to parents rather than really kind of giving so much to the kids at this point. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Juana. There are no more questions from the public, President Hans-Silver.
Sorry. All right, may I have a motion to close the floor to the public?
Motion.
Motion.
All right, motion Rubino, seconded by Richter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right, seeing none. All right, Mr. Rhoda, I'll let you go ahead.
Okay, let me work through my list here. First of all, so there was a question about the teachers interacting with students in class live. As you know, today was day one of the middle school program, but yes, the plan is for teachers to interact with the students as well as conduct the online classes simultaneously. So I think you'll see that developing as the process develops. Like I said, today was day one, so there was just a start, but the plan is for the teachers to interact with the students in front of them as well as the students online. The question of document cameras. Document cameras have been ordered. They're on back order. We're still waiting for them. We have budgeted a significant amount of money to provide document cameras through not only several of our grant opportunities that we've seen, and as the requests have come in, we have tried to do our best to supply them. But obviously there's a shortage because we're in the same situation as every other district. So we moved about 5 years ago, we moved away from document cameras because we were putting the interactive projectors in every classroom. And now we see that they do have value. So we have some that have been around since then, and we have definitely already placed the order for more. The middle school class periods being lengthened, one of the concerns with the middle school periods was if the students were to attend all 7 or 8 classes during the day, then we'd have 6 classroom changes, which would just drastically increase the exposure of different kids in different places. So by doing the longer periods and only 4 periods, that limits the passing time to only 3 changes during the day, much like we're doing in the other buildings. So it limits that possible exposure and the ability to clean. It makes it a little easier to clean surfaces in between those classes. The standardized testing question is a very good one, and it's one we've been asking, and I say we, I mean the county superintendents and all the educators have been requesting from the Department of Education the same question: will we be doing standardized testing this year? And if the answer is yes, when will that be? So far, we have somewhat confirmation, nothing in writing, but we do have confirmation that yes, we will be conducting New Jersey student learning assessments, yes, NJSLA, sometime in the spring. No dates have been given, no other information really. Ms. Baker, have you received any additional information?
I haven't. I actually asked Ms. Karub, our Director of Guidance, about that, and she has yet to receive information from the department as well.
So we're waiting to hear from the Department of Education regarding specific testing dates. We were required to send out a letter, which we always do, saying that the students will be tested, and the state urged us to do that. They just have not issued any dates. Technically, there is no official opt-out allowed. Students are expected to participate. However, whether or not a student sit for a test is really a parental decision. I know that there is a bill in the legislature that is providing an opt-out for parents. Now, last I saw, that was still with the state education committee in the assembly. So for right now, there's no official opt-out policy or procedure other than students not coming in for the test. We are actively recruiting the next 2 items. That we are actively recruiting more paraprofessionals for the district, and also more substitute teachers for the district. We are experiencing, like many other districts, an extreme shortage in available paraprofessionals and also substitute teachers. We will have substitute teachers in place for those students who are in the building when and if a teacher is absent for whatever reason. and they will be doing their best to conduct the classes. The main teacher will be providing, hopefully if they're able to, possibly online instruction, or at least lessons and activities that can be conducted by the substitute, much like we would normally do. But we are still actively recruiting, trying to build up those numbers just for those reasons, to provide more support to all the teachers across the board. As far as addressing the mental health status of the teachers, 2 years ago, we began an initiative in the district working with a group called Pure Edge, and did a series of mindfulness training with the staff that has continued. We continue to do that. A part of it is use of an app that's called Headspace, I believe, that staff will have access to. We are planning a webinar, a stress management webinar for all the staff on October 27th, which will be conducted by this same group, Pure Edge, which specializes in mindfulness and mental health techniques. So we've had success with that for the past 2 years, and we're going to continue that relationship moving forward. Because obviously, as someone, Josefa said, yes, the staff are under a great deal of stress. This is a very challenging time, and it's a very difficult thing to do for someone to conduct the activities this way. So we are doing our best to support them, and this is just one of the things we're doing. The question about the specials in the elementary, once again, we are looking to incorporate more live special activity. The challenge is that the special teachers generally teach just about every student in the building. So it becomes a logistical scheduling challenge to get them into each of the classes at an appropriate time based on the cohort model. So for right now, we're doing the recorded lessons and activities, but there is hopefully over time, we will be able to plan to move them into more active interaction with the direct students, particularly at the lower levels. And I believe that is it.
And I might have missed it, but I'm always sensitive to questions and issues that are raised out of School 3 as their liaison. I think there was a question, I made a note about the use of substitutes, and there was a kindergarten teacher.
Yes, we have, go ahead, what was the question, Ms. Colback? We're using substitutes as needed. We do have some in the district where we are actively recruiting because we are shorthanded, but right now, to my knowledge, every absence has been covered by a substitute or by a teacher within the building.
Okay, I think it was more focused on, and I didn't take copious notes, I just jotted something, but that there was something in the way of like a PowerPoint or something that was just sent for the children instead of no interaction with the substitute and the students. That was my takeaway from the question.
Oh, well, we are working with the subs to get them up to speed so they can be more interactive and conduct the activity that the main teacher leaves for them.
And to my knowledge, sorry, just to piggyback off of that, I know for even my children, when their teachers were absent, they would not have the remote instruction. Instead, they were given assignments, whether they be young or in the intermediate school. So it wasn't like they had a substitute that came on the Zoom instead. It was that they were given assignments. So are we keeping track at all of those events, or?
We track every teacher absence. We keep track of all that's going on. We have to, obviously, for one reason. But yes, we're trying to keep track of that so we have a handle on it and really get to be able to address as it comes up, because as the year progresses, we are going to have more teachers absent for a variety of reasons, whatever it might be. Hopefully not serious, COVID related, but unfortunately people do get sick. People have personal days they must take. So we're working on improving that whole substitute pool and their activities.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to resolutions. I think before we get to the list, I believe, are we going to table 10P, or were we just going ahead with, I have in my notes for 10P.
We're going to postpone that.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought. All right, so then may I have a motion to postpone 10P?
Motion, Colback.
Okay, motion Colbath, seconded by Morel to postpone 10P.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
He's on mute.
Yes.
thank you. Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hansilver,
Yes.
motion passes. President Hansilver, if we can have a motion to amend the minutes. Ms. Tuck sent me a clarification later in the evening, and the clarification is around her comment regarding Governor Murphy's virtual town hall. She meant to say out of the state's almost 3,000 public schools. So if we can have a motion to amend the minutes to clarify Ms. Tuck's comments.
Okay. May I have a motion to amend the minutes?
Motion
Ramba.
Colbath.
Okay. Motion Colbath, seconded by, I think it was Ms. Cho. I saw you.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Hansilver.
Yes.
Motion to amend the minutes for clarification passes.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve items 1B through 3B?
Motion Ramba.
1B as amended.
Oh, right. Sorry. 1B as amended.
Motion Ramba.
Okay. Okay. Motion Ramba, seconded Tuck.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hansilver.
Yes.
Motions pass.
All right. May I have a motion to approve items 1 CUR through 2 CUR?
Motion Ramba.
Second,
Second.
Motion Ramba, second Morel.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hansilver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
May I have a motion to approve items 1F through 14F?
Motion Ramba.
Second row.
Okay, motion Ramba, seconded Demaglio.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hansilver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
May I have a motion to approve items 1P through 9P and 11P and 12P?
Motion Morel.
Second Richter.
Motion Morel, second Richter.
Ms. Cho,
Yes.
Ms. Colbath,
Yes.
Mr. Demaglio,
Yes.
Ms. Morel,
Yes.
Ms. Richter,
Yes.
Ms. Ramba,
Yes.
Mr. Rubino,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Ms. Hansilver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Right, moving on. Is there any old business?
I'm not sure if this is old business, but when it comes to the SATs, is there a way to find out if you have any high school juniors or seniors in Fort Lee that haven't been able to register that do want to take the test? And if so, it's something that we could host as a board just for our town students. I've heard some feedback that there are students who want to take it but can't find a spot in any place close by. So
Mrs. Karuba reached out to all the 12th and 11th graders and asked them, and she did not get any request of the 11th or 12th graders for additional SAT dates or someone saying they couldn't get in. we're hosting SATs in November and December. So she did reach
Right.
out.
So my understanding, though, I think November, December, a lot of the students that registered are not actually from the district. So I just wanted to make sure.
She reached out to those students through their own internal communication at the high school, and did not hear any students give her feedback that they could not register.
Okay, great.
So we decided to go with those dates.
Okay, I wasn't sure about the follow-up on that. So
Yep.
perfect. Thanks.
Okay, if there's no other old business, is there any new business?
Can I just,
Oh.
Go ahead, Ms. Colback.
okay, I just wanted to urge Ken on the analysis of collapsing cohorts and allowing people to change. If we could really get that process going, just because we need to analyze the data, see if, maybe we're not going to be able to have, I don't know, maybe there's many more people will want in person, maybe it'll work the other way around. But if we could really put the focus on getting a survey out so the process and analysis can start, I think parents would feel much more at ease.
Ms. Hunsilver?
Yes, go ahead, Mrs. Rumble.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Roeder. I've been enjoying the streaming of our football games. Since we can't all get there, it's been a lot of fun going in and out and seeing how they're doing, especially when they won the other night. So thank you. It's a lot of fun to watch the live streams.
That's all Mr.
It's
Raftery.
even nicer being there.
Yeah, Mr. Raftery did that. He took care of all that. I can't take credit for anything other than watching it myself.
Right. All of us can't be there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice thing, and you can even, it's working as well for soccer, boys and girls soccer. So if you don't want to stand in the rain, the parents have to, but the rest of us don't have to stand in the rain to watch the game. So.
Hey, can I make a motion for have to Ralph suit up for the games again, like he did 100 years ago?
Second.
And you can bring your husband in there too, Lauren.
Ms. Onsilva, let me just say for the board that, as I said, I started the conversation with Mr. Ruggiero today. Mrs. Baker and I met with him to discuss the next board meeting format. As he progresses through that, I'll keep the board informed. He knows our next meeting is November 2nd. We're not sure if we're going to make that deadline. He may need to order some equipment to allow us to broadcast and do live in person. So we're going to shoot for the 2nd. But he's working on it. I'll keep the board informed as we see the progress.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, actually, so just a couple questions, sorry, for Ken. Just going off of the comments that we've heard today with regards to the kindergarten substitutes and whatnot, in terms of leave replacements and substitutes, what are we doing in terms of training them or giving them support that they might need? How frequently are they assessed, or is there a way to get that feedback as to how things are going? And then also, furthermore, is there a way to also post for parents just a chain of command, especially for new parents that are in the district? They might not know where to go if there is an issue or concern. So if we could get that out again just to the district, I think that would be good information to spread. So.
Well, the legal placements are being evaluated along the same process as if they were standard teachers. They get observed and evaluated by the administrators, and that's also providing the support that they might need in different areas. They also work with teachers in their grade level, mentor teachers who work with them to help them in their transition into the building. The subs, if it's a long-term sub versus a daily subs, we do train them. Right now, our emphasis on the training has been on the technology pieces to get them comfortable with that. So that's a little different because that's more hit or miss if it's a day sub here and a day sub there. The last piece I wasn't clear, which is meant, Mrs. Cho, as far as parents reaching out if they have questions, the first call is to the teacher and to the building principal. That hasn't changed. So they always have that opportunity. If they're unsuccessful, then they can always call me.
I wasn't sure because I know typically at the back to school nights they would give or show us a chain of command from what I recall, but I don't know that every school did that this back to school night virtually. So if there's a way just for us to get that out to especially the new parents in the district who don't know the chain of command, I think it would be Just
Yeah,
a suggestion.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion, Ramba.
Second, Cho.
Okay, motion Ramba, seconded by Cho. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
You too.
You guys
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Good night.